So my name is Sarah Turner. I am an educational developer within the Center for Educational Excellence at Simon Fraser University. And the educational development work that I do is really, really broad. It encompasses working with faculty one-on-one, as well as working on anything teaching and learning related with larger departments, and then also at the institutional level as well. And it's all at the core of it is teaching and learning, but again, that can be working with faculty in terms of thinking about how they present and reflect on their teaching for tenure and promotion, for instance.
For me, I'm a voice and presentation skills specialist, and what I help people with is how to feel comfortable with their voice and with their body, to feel safe while they're presenting, so they seem comfortable, so they can be heard, so they don't look awkward when they're presenting. And I do this with faculty, with graduate students who are TAs, with people getting ready for presenting, say, thesis or for some symposiums and things like that. So but my main focus is on things that are performative.
My background is also in performance and performance education. So there are kind of two things that light me up, and that is working and collaborating with people, be it in education or in performance, and also just learning. There's nothing that makes me happier than, seeing that aha moment or being in a space, be it as a performer or as an instructor or as an educational developer, when you're in community and there is a moment that is just really profoundly altering in the way that maybe we see the world, or that we work with each other, or the way that we see teaching and learning. So I love those aha moments. And I love it when those aha moments happen either in community, with larger groups, or even just one-on-one.
When I see a client or a student or somebody I'm working with be able to take away a skill that they didn't have before, it's very much like the aha moment when they go, oh, I get that, and that works. Oh, that's so pleasing to see them go away with more confidence, with more certainty that what they're doing works and is effective. And anytime I just see anybody go away with an enhanced, skill set, that gives me a lot of joy.
Yeah, I think education is at a really exciting moment in time. And I just really appreciate the past few days here at Studio 23, because I think, education is really grappling with how do we decolonize a system that is very colonial and that is very rigid. And we see this in looking at not only our assessment practices, which is where I think it's really at the forefront right now, but also like what are the skills and what are the capacities that we are needing to develop? And again, over the past few days, just the focus on creativity and safety, like that we need a type of not necessarily that we can dictate it being safe, but how can we create enough of a safety within a learning space so that creativity and criticality can really answer some of these really pressing questions that we can't avoid as a human species right now.
I have two prongs that I think about. One is that it's really exciting at a conference like this one to see all the complexity and the moving forward with what people need to incorporate into teaching and learning, and how there's so much awareness being drawn to all of these things. And that's really encouraging. The other thing that I am concerned about education is, I see that a concern for me is post-secondary becoming more trade school-like, that the sort of universal education, developing wonderful human beings, I worry about that becomes less of a focus, and people just go, I'm just going to go to this faculty because I want to get a job when I get out. And so that notion of, are we producing, workers, or are we producing better people in the process? So that's my concern. That's why I'm so encouraged by this conference, is that it's looking at new possibility.
What I'm really ruminating on, and part of this are, just conversations that are emerging, and it's sort of building on my last answer, but it's this idea around assessment and evaluation, and how do we begin to cultivate different atmospheres where we're encouraging learners to really take on more ownership and more of a collegial approach, so that as we continue to rethink assessments, how do we empower students to build those skills to assess their own work, to do that in really constructive and nurturing ways, instead of ways that really stifle or encourage this process of just working through a system. So that's the piece that I'm ruminating on, and I think it's really different within all, there's not a standard set answer, and I think it's different within all disciplines. And so I think, how do we ask that question and move into the answer kind of collaboratively with our learners as well?
There's so much to ruminate on. Some of the things I think about are how efficiency in education, so much is asked of the educators. And one proposal is that instructors could offer the same class more times in a week. And I go, well, you could do that with video, so they're not using up so much of that instructor's time, not asking more energy from the instructor and going to more video. But video is in one way so cold, but I find it so incredibly efficient, rewindable. You can go back and learn something again. But then that sense of community in the classroom, and how, especially post-COVID, that preciousness of just being at a conference like this one, where we're with people and there's just a sense of being with people. And I think our new awareness of what that actually means to us. So those are, the sort of warmth in the institutions is a concern for me.
I would describe my facilitation style, and I guess this is more my kind of aspirations for what I hope that people experience. And I loved the words this morning that came out around glow, because I know that facilitation is going well when I feel like I am glowing and when I feel like the participants are glowing. Sanders and I facilitated a session yesterday, and this gets into how I would describe it. When I'm best as a facilitator, I am engaged, I am energetic, I am connected, and we are all creating energy within a space. We led a session on improvisation. And it was a true joy, because everyone showed up and everyone was enjoying each other, and there was the space to both play and also to think critically. And I think that one of my particular gifts as a facilitator is that I can help cultivate that space, because I think it becomes really dynamic when people can make some bold choices and enter into a space where all of a sudden they're having fun. There's also a freedom to sort of think a little bit more creatively and a bit more critically too. And I think it's this odd sort of combination. So that's I love that word glow, because I think when we're all glowing as facilitators, and for me, that's energy, passion for what it is that I'm doing, and also real attention to making sure that there's shared voice within a space.
And adding to that, that atmosphere that we create, one thing that's really important to me, and a word that is safety, creating safety for people. And this is something that, coming from theater, performing arts backgrounds, is that people need to feel safe to be able to take risk. And this is something I hope I create atmospheres that make it safe for people to do something that they might not normally do. And I think we saw that a lot yesterday. People, and as we developed complexity in the session, that near the end people were doing stuff. They even said to me later, they said, I would not have done that at the beginning of the class, but you create enough safety that they progress, and that they feel free to risk, to fail gloriously. And I think there's so much learning to be done in that moment.
So I'll start with my favorite production, because it's something that Sanders and I were talking about recently. And it actually isn't necessarily one production, but I love Tennessee Williams as a playwright. And so any piece of theater that is from Tennessee Williams, I just really speaks to my heart. He's got this amazing ability to really identify the frailness in humanity and bring it out with all its kind of ugliness and unpleasantness, and to not shirk from that, but also to reveal the beauty in that. And I think that as a human being, I think that is really like vindicating, and he's also so poetic. Like in the mundane, he's able to find the poetic, and the poetic speaks to me. Metaphor, images,
The glass menagerie.
The glass menagerie, so beautiful.
Well, when I think of, I think it's a coincidence that a television show I just can't get enough of is Young Sheldon. And I just love this exceptional child that, in terms of teaching and learning, oh my gosh, what a challenge. Every teacher, they show him in relationship to every teacher, and how the teachers are just confounded, but nobody wants to squash his brilliance. And so he's got his challenges. But one of my favorite productions is a musical, Dear Evan Hansen, and it's about a fellow that's got some real learning challenges and some social challenges, and how he deals with them and how he moves forward through them. But I think it's kind of coincidental that those two characters are a little bit similar, Evan Hansen and Young Sheldon.
Two things. The first thing that I would have is an empty journal that was like this big. And the second thing would be a pen. Writing is my salvation. It is a space when I don't have the opportunity to perform, and when I don't have the opportunity to be in communities that I love. I love entering my imagination. And the easiest way for me to do that when I'm not in community is through that pen. So I would have a fantastic pen that never ran out of ink, and a beautiful journal with handmade paper with beautiful fibers.
And I think it would be books. I think I'm a pretty social person, and the lack of people would drive me crazy. And one thing I notice when I read good fiction is wanting to slow down near the end of a book, because I do not want to end the relationship with the people in the book. It's like, whoa, slow down. And the other thing would either be a telephone or music or musical recordings, of incredible music that allows me to feel the whole spectrum of everything. Yeah.
Well, maybe from Wicked. What's the name of that one? Where the both of them are singing together. That people
not Defying Gravity.
No. To your life for a reason, thinking there's something you must learn, but we are led to help them both to grow if we let them.
I
and
love
we
that
help
song.
them in return.
I wish I could sing the other part with you. But what is it? It's gosh, I can't think of the title of
I
it.
don't know the title.
But anyway, it's just a beautiful song about two people that have had a real skirmish with each other, and they really come to a profound understanding. And then Stephen Schwartz, just the music is so incredibly beautiful. Yeah, such a great thing about friendships being able to sustain difficulty. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, that is a great song.
Gorgeous. It's a beautiful one. I love it. That's mine. One of mine. I have many, though, I have to say.
I know. Like, I'm just going to go with one of my favorites just from that same show. Is Ephrata. You know, she's in high school and she just happens to be green. And her song Defying Gravity, where she has been, and it's an interesting thing, is the heroicism of somebody that is treated so poorly, and they just goes, I'm still going to champion myself. And just even in the profound solitude, the song, the humanity in that story just makes me weep so much. But that and Glenn Campbell's Gentle on My Mind. I picked two.
Oh yeah, that's good. I
can't think of it. I know it's like me as a music person. If somebody says, "Oh, give me a song," I'll go, "Songs? I don't know any songs."
Do you know what I love My Funny Valentine.
Oh, that's an incredible
I love My
song.
Funny Valentine.
Yeah.
Again, like just that expression of, you know, I love you. We're so imperfect, and yet I love you more than anything on earth. And for me, it's just
and so many of the great songs that turn into jazz standards come from musical theater.
Yeah, it's true.